Hi everyone. Wanted to thank you again for coming to bring your daughters and sons to work day. We really enjoyed showing you the things that we do, and we have this kit, motor kit. So we're going to record a couple of instructions, and hopefully it'll be a fun project for dad and daughter or son and even mom. So let's get started. So the kit comes in this little box. Let's open it up and see the different parts. I'm going to pull out this black it's actually a taped up battery. It has two ends to it, two ends that are paper clips that are sticking out. Put that right there. Next, I'm going to pull out the wire that we're going to use to wrap the motor. So this is 30 gauge magnet wire. It's red, and the ends of it are stripped so that we can make a good connection with it. Next, I'm going to pull out, this is going to be our motor armature. It has 4 screws in it, and we're going to wrap some coil around 2 of these screws. That's the beginning of our motor armature, just a wooden dowel about 10 millimeters thick. And I'm going to take out the motor base. This is the motor base. It has 2 paper clips stuck into a piece of pine wood, and if you look real closely, there is a magnet. So that magnet is stuck in there. That's gonna be the field magnet, and it's gonna be what the motor armature is gonna push against to make it spin. Next, we have 2 short lengths of blue wire. Next, we have one round push pin. And we have another push pin that has a longer base to it. And lastly, we have in here, we have 4 strips of copper. That's going to make our commutator. And I have 3 small rubber bands. These 3 small rubber bands, we'll only need 2 of them, but we're going to attach the wire from the motor armature to the commutator with those rubber bands. All right, let's get started. Step 1. We're going to take the motor armature, incomplete, and we're going to take our red magnet wire right there. I'm going to remove the blue tape that was holding the magnet wire together, and I'm going to take out the end of the magnet. I'm going to start with the end of the magnet wire that is closest to the S. So that would be this one. And I'm going to the end and wrap it around 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I've wrapped it around the wooden dowel. And now I'm going to start wrapping 100 turns around the screw. One of the longer screws. So there's going to be 2 long screws and 2 shorter screws. Now I'm going to wrap in the clockwise direction. And I'm going to count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump ahead. We're at 90 turns. And 90 turns should look about like that. I'll finish the last 10 turns to make 100. 1, 2, 3, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100 turns. So after that 100 turn, I'm going to start winding around the other screw. So I'm just going to make the wire go to the other screw. But now, instead of wrapping around clockwise, I want to wrap around this side counterclockwise. That's very important. So that's the opposite way the clock goes. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Skipping ahead, this is 90 turns of wire, and I'm going to complete the last 10. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. All right, 100 turns. Your armature should now look like this. We've got 100 turns of wire on both of the long screws. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this extra length of wire. See, so there's this extra length. I'm going to continue to wrap it so that the extra length of wire is not too long. So just a few more turns. And all right. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. Remember the other side, we wrapped it clockwise, so I'm going to wrap that extra bit clockwise. Right. So now when I extend the wire, it should go about to the bottom. All right, now we're going to make a little coil at the very end of this wire. So note that the very end of this wire is copper colored. And I have scraped off the red insulation from this magnet wire so that we can make a connection. The copper will make a good electrical connection, but the red paint won't. So it also included this little, this is like 4 twisted wires here. And this is what's going to be our mandrel, around which we're going to wrap the end of this so that we can get a small coil. See, I'm wrapping it around. this. And when I take it off, I'm going to have this small coil, which I'm going to bunch up together. So there I'm bunching it up, and there's this bunch of wire. I'm going to try to do the same on the other side. Right. Wrap it a few times. Maybe 4 or 5 times. Take it off. And there's my 3 little coils, which I'm going to scrunch together. When I look at it, it's this little coil. Let's see, how many did I get on the other side? I got, about 3 coils on the other side. Okay, we're just going to leave those in the air for right now, because now we're going to actually make the commutator. All right, so I have this copper strip that has tape on that back side. All right, so we're going to want to put the commutator on now, and the commutator is going to be made from 4 of this copper tape strips. So this is a bit tricky. One side of the copper strip is a tape. So we're gonna peel off this brown backing, and we're gonna stick it in a precise location. I say precise, it doesn't have to be exact, but basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stick this so the edge of the tape kind of lines up a little bit to the center of the screw, but a little bit to the side of the center of the screw. So I'm going to peel that off and stick it, and I'll show you what it looks like. So here I have peeled the backing off and stuck this copper tape in this location, which is basically lining up with the center of the screw, but it's a little bit to the right of the center of the screw. So it looks like this. I'm going to put the next copper tape just to the left, and I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, here I've placed the second commutator strip, and as you can see, there's a gap between these 2 copper pieces of tape, and the gap lines up directly with the screw. So if you kind of drop a line in between the 2, or you drew a line in between the 2 commutator strips, it would end at the center of the screw. All right, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to turn this around like this, and I'm going to put 2 more strips just to the left and the right of the center of the screw. All right, now here we have all 4 strips of tape have been placed to make our commutator. I'm going to spin it around slowly so you can see that there's a gap between the tape, the copper tape. So you see how that is, and you see how the gap aligns with the screw that we've wound the wire around so that it lines up, the center of that screw kind of lines up with the gap. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but do your best to do that, because that determines kind of the timing of the motor. Okay, I'm going to put some rubber bands now on the commutator. So let me do that and I will come back. All right, here I've rolled 2 of the rubber bands and they're on the commutator. Now what we're going to try to do is roll the rubber bands over this wire when I hold it there. So notice how I'm placing the wire. So the wire is coming off of this coil around the screw, and I want to place it to the left. The commutator not to the right, but the commutator to the left, like so, so that when I roll the rubber band over, it will hold that. Okay, I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. So I've rolled the 1 rubber band, so it is holding the wire, but it's off the commutator. Now I'm going to try to roll that bottom rubber band right directly on to the wire so it makes a nice and good contact. I'll do that and I'll be right back. So here we are. The rubber band is directly over that copper loop of wire, and the rubber band on top is like a second holder of the wire. All right, and I'm going to try to do the same thing on the other side with the other end of the wire. So I'm going to again try to put this wire also to the left. So this wire is going to be making contact to the commutator to the left. Okay, I'm going to try to do that right now. Okay, I'm back. I'm almost done, but this was a little bit trickier than it sounds. But so I slid this second wire underneath one of the bands, and I used this in the kit, the blue wire, and I used the blue wire to pick up the rubber band to help me slide it under. So that was the trick that I used. So I think I'm going to do the same thing now for the second, because I've got to get this wire touching this commutator. So I'm going to slide it under, again as a trick, and try to pull it up. All right, let me try to do that and I'll come back. So it looks like I've done it. I've put that second rubber band directly in the middle of the loop, so it's putting pressure onto the commutator. So let's look on the other side. Oh, this one needs to be readjusted. I'm going to try to get that loop directly in the center of that copper foil commutator strip. Okay, here it is. I think we're done, almost. And then we've placed that wire from the coil. Notice how the wire from the coil is to the left of the coil itself. And I spin it around, I have the same thing. This wire has gone to the commutator strip. So there's no actual connection to the commutator strip in between. So this one has no connection, just like this one has no connection, and that's how we want it. All right, now it's time to add the push pins. We're going to put the push pin, the spherical push pin, on the top closest to the nails, and the flat push pin closest to on the other side. I'm going to do that now. All right, here is our completed armature. So with the spherical pin, push pin closest to the screws, and the flat push pin on the other side. Notice I did not push the push pin all the way in, and I also pushed it in the hole that was pre-drilled. So you want to push these in the pre-drilled hole to make it easier. All right, I'm going to place this in the motor bracket, the motor base. I've placed the armature into the motor base on the paper clips. So you see how the paper clip is making contact with the actual metal of the push pin there on the spherical push pin, and similarly on this side it's making contact. So if you can get your motor to do this, see how it's like shaking a little bit? That's great. And if you can spin it and it spins freely, that is beautiful. So you might need to bend the paper clips a little bit each way so that you can get it to spin freely. Oh, beautiful. We're almost done. Let me get the battery and the 2 blue wires. All right, you guys, we're almost done. So here I have the battery pack, and I have this blue wire. We're gonna wrap the blue wire around these ends of the battery, which are connected to these paper clips, and that's gonna make our power and a brush unit. So I'm gonna wrap the shorter blue wire around the straight paper clip, and I'm gonna wrap the longer blue wire around the paper clip that is bent. All right, I'll do that and I'll be right back. Here I've wrapped the shorter blue wire around the paper clip that is has the straight edge. And you can see how I wrapped it. I wrapped it several times, and then I wrapped it with the blue insulation around it. So the uninsulated part is what's going to make the contact, and the blue is just going to try to hold it. I'm going to do the same thing for the longer blue wire on the around the paper clip that is bent. All right, I've prepared the brushes and the battery. Here it is. You can kind of see it. The short wire is there toward the top, and I'm gonna connect it to the motor, and let's see if we get this thing to spin. All right, here it goes. So I think I'm gonna try to just have this one right next to it. So this one wire will hold itself. I put it like that. So it's making pretty good contact. Let me spin it. Okay, it looks like it's making contact. Now I'm gonna hold this second wire just by myself. And oh, it spun right away. Look at that. Look at that go. It's got lots of spinning power. Took away it stops, And that's it. That's the motor project. Don't be discouraged if something doesn't work out or it's really hard to position all these wires. It takes a little bit of skill. The first people that made motors, oh my goodness, had they had to use a lot of time, and they developed quite a bit of skill in making the motors. So it's something that's fun, and I hope it works. And if you have any problems, just call me or ask your dad and to give me a call, and we'll try to figure out what seems to be the motor problem. All right, enjoy, you guys.